Good morning, everybody. Not a lot going on in Yankees land right now. This is one of those off seasons that's filled with rumors, but not a whole lot of action going on. Early on, there was a lot of excitement about Francisco Lindor. That excitement seems to have died down, but it's pretty clear that the Indians are, well, the team formerly known as the Indians, are in a tough spot because he's going to be a free agent after next season. He's going to earn a lot of money, and Cleveland is not going to be able to pay him, so I still think they have to move him. Now, if the Yankees sign DJ LeMahieu, which it's looking more and more like they may do, the two sides are kind of negotiating. They're about $25 million apart. It's developing slowly, partially because I think the season is going to be delayed. There's talks that Major League Baseball may not begin the season until May. And even if it wasn't, it's been the trend in baseball over the past few years that it's taking some of the bigger names on the market a longer time to end up with their eventual teams. You remember Manny Machado and Bryce Harper ended up with the Padres and the Phillies about 2 weeks before spring training. So I feel like it's just kind of been the trend that things are developing slowly, and this year, because of COVID and because of the potential delay in the season, things are developing even more slowly. So today I just wanted to have a little fun and speculate on what could be an awesome infield. Now, I don't think this is going to happen. I'm going to preface this by saying the money probably wouldn't work for the Yankees because Francisco Lindor and DJ LeMahieu combined are probably going to make $40 to $42 million next year. And everything that I've heard is that the Yankees are trying to keep their costs under the luxury tax, which means they're going to spend less than I thought. It means they're going to spend probably a max of about $30 million. So unless they find a way to offload some other salary, maybe an Ottavino, maybe an Aroldis Chapman, and rely on some of the young bullpen arms, then I just don't see this going down. But it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. We've seen the Yankees go over the luxury tax threshold in the past when they feel like it gives them an opportunity to win a World Series, which I think what I'm proposing in this video would do. So here's my dream infield for next year. I've got Luke Voit at first base. I am not getting Josh Bell. I like Josh Bell. I think he's a good switch hitter. He had a bit of a down year, but he strikes out too much. Luke Voit is a guy who's very selective at the plate. He's done it in New York. He's a fan favorite. He's a likable guy. He's going to stay out of trouble. I really like the idea of keeping Luke Voit and eventually re-signing Luke Voit to be a long-term first baseman. I think he's going to improve at first base. A lot of guys aren't great at first base or third base, corner infield spots early on in their career, but as you do anything more and more, you get better at it. It's hard to believe that somebody who makes the major leagues and can improve in the way that Luke Voit has improved can't improve his defense. Now, recently, Brian Cashman said that Gleyber Torres is a better second baseman than a shortstop in terms of defense. And I agree with him. Just from watching the past couple of years, he's looked more comfortable at second base than he did at shortstop. He takes a little bit too long to get rid of the ball at shortstop. And at second base, you can take a little bit longer because it's a shorter throw. So I like Gleyber Torres at second base much more than I like him at shortstop. I'm not saying he can't get better at shortstop. I just think his future is probably at second base. So I would move Gleyber Torres right over to second base, let him play there for 15 years. Just stick him there and forget about it. Let him get better. That means DJ LeMahieu, if you re-sign him, he either has to play shortstop or third base, and he's frankly too old to play shortstop. I don't even know if he's ever played shortstop in his career. But I would shift him over to third base. We've seen him at third base for the Yankees. He's a big, tall guy, so he can kind of stretch out when he dives and stop that ball that goes into the 5.5 hole between third base and shortstop. And I really feel like, he would be a really good third baseman long-term for the Yankees. 3-4 years. He's young enough. He's athletic enough. It is a tough position, but you also have Gio Urshela. Now, Gio Urshela was a Gold Glove finalist. He's obviously a good hitter. He hit over 300 2 years ago. He hit 298 this year. He's got a little bit of power. He hit that big grand slam in the playoffs. But Gio Urshela has played second base and shortstop. To me, he's the perfect super utility guy because he can play all over the infield. He can play third base, shortstop, second base, and I get it. Why would you take that awesome defense off of third base? And it's a tough thing to do, but I don't think that DJ LeMahieu would be a huge fall off at third base from being your regular third baseman. And let's face it, Gio Urshela is going to play all the time, which with as much time as the Yankees give their guys, days off and stuff like that. Aaron Boone likes to change his lineup almost every single day. I think on any given day, you can rest either Gleyber Torres or DJ LeMahieu, or who I'm hoping could be the Yankees' new shortstop, a guy who plays pretty much every day anyway, Francisco Lindor. And I get it. The Yankees are hurting financially because they lost a ton of money this year. But the money's going to come back once the fans start coming back into the stadium. And if you put a guy who's exciting as Francisco Lindor at shortstop and you make a run at this World Series championship, he's going to pay for himself. The Yankees have to flex their financial muscle. When you're committed to winning every year, as the Yankees are, that means you're going to get worse draft picks. You're not going to get to pick in the first 5 or 10 picks of the draft. I can't recall the last time the Yankees had a top 10 pick. It might have been Derek Jeter in 1992. So if you want to contend every single year, as the Yankees do, then you have to spend. And that's something that George Steinbrenner understood. And I'm not saying that the Yankees aren't spending, because they've been hovering around the luxury tax limit every single year for the past, couple of decades. And they spent a ton last year. They're going to spend a ton this year. And the Rays proved last year that you don't need a high payroll to win. So you can't blame the Yankees for trying to cut payroll and trying to be more efficient with their dollars. But right now, there's a generational talent available at a crucial position. You got a generational talent in the rotation last year in Garrett Cole. And now you could have Francisco Lindor combining with Aaron Judge and combining with Gleyber Torres, two guys who are going to be really good over the next decade. I mean, Francisco Lindor could help you win 3 championships. So if I'm the Yankees, I'm flexing my financial might, and I'm getting both DJ LeMahieu and Francisco Lindor. But what would it take to trade for Francisco Lindor? That's the question. I think you could start the conversation with somebody like Miguel Andujar, because Andujar, even though he's a great hitter, he would be out of a position if Gio Urshela became your utility guy. And I don't think that Andujar can really help the Yankees much in the outfield. Judge, Hicks, Frazier, Florial, Tauchman, those guys can lock up the outfield. The conversation would begin with a potential all-star DH for the Cleveland Indians, and that would be Miguel Andujar. You'd probably have to give them some pitching as well. You might have to include a Clark Schmidt, and Clark Schmidt is one of the Yankees' top prospects, so they'd definitely be hesitant to do that. But I think to get Francisco Lindor, I think you'd have to do it. I think you'd have to give up Clark Schmidt and Miguel Andujar. You might even have to throw in a piece like a Tyler Wade. It's just, a necessary evil. You have to give up something to get something, but I think in this case, what you're getting would be a championship infield for the New York Yankees. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel. Sponsorships are always available, so feel free to reach out to me on Twitter @NYYRecaps. Thanks for watching.